Today I would like to tell you the difference between traditional therapy and the neuromovement method. Please take a few minutes to listen. It is worth it, and in the end you will understand why the lessons are worth the money. The body as a mechanical model. In many traditional therapies, the body is seen as a mechanical model. This makes sense because from birth on, we are confronted with gravity. So we learn from an early age that if we want to move something, be it our own body or an object, we have to use force. And we find that the more force we use, the bigger or stronger the movement. This often even applies to the use of our voice or our emotions. The louder, the stronger the reaction. Whether then this turns out the way we want it is a different matter. So, the mechanical model is important and omnipresent. It is a source of experience and information for our nervous system. If we view the body as a mechanical model, we see that this model can be repaired if something is broken. This is the case for broken bones, for example. These can be repaired and they probably heal more or less to their original stage. And there are situations where therapy is just the thing. However, if we look at a child with special needs, the situation is different. We cannot heal functions that have never been formed. We need to start with what is. We need to create the functions. The same applies for brain functions that have been lost due to stroke or brain trauma. And this is where our plastic brain comes into play.
The Anat-Banyel method, neuromovement, is a learning method. And of course, so is the Feldenkrais method, the Neuro Horizons experiential movement method, and others. None of them is therapy.
This is why we have students and not patients. The method uses the principles of neuroplasticity. This holistic approach enables the brain to create new neural connections that open up incredible opportunities for learning and help to grow beyond current limitations. This approach improves brain function, which in turn helps to learn and to think better, overcome pain, move better, and reach new levels of performance. Leading neuroscientists such as Michael Merzenich or Norman Deutsch validate the method and highly recommend it.
The body as an information system. The brain is designed to respond and create configurations, but has no control over the creation of these patterns. It creates what it learns and does not distinguish between good and bad. The brain responds to the perception of differences, which leads to the creation of patterns and enables the organization of actions. So we have to be very skillful in helping the student to create useful patterns.
Stimulation is not information. As an example of how sensitively, slowly, and with the utmost attention a practitioner must work to support his student in forming new, desirable connections in the brain, is that stimulation alone is not information for the brain. Stimulation only becomes information when a difference is perceived. In order to perceive differences, we must proceed very slowly, gently, and precisely. We must pay attention to what we feel as we move so that our student can perceive even the smallest differences, connections and changes, and thus has the chance to learn what he cannot learn by himself due to his condition.
Anat Banyel has formulated the 9 essentials. They form the basis of our work, and their application is essential for success. These are movement with attention to what you feel, slow, variations, subtlety, enthusiasm, flexible goals, the learning switch, imagination and dreams, awareness.
Honest internalization of the understanding of movement.
We practitioners, be it ABM, Neuro Horizons or Feldenkrais, learn the method during many hundreds of hours that we spend on the ground and learn movements like a baby learns them from the very beginning.
And only when we have really internalized all the connections between our skeleton, muscles, nervous system, and everything that belongs to the body, can we use this physical knowledge to help another person. Detailed descriptions of the 9 essentials can be found on Anat Banyel's homepage as well as on mine. I have them in German, and many other practitioners have them on their page as well. Also, Anat Banyel has written a book called Kids Beyond Limits, where she describes these essentials and how to use them in your daily life with your special needs child. I highly recommend reading it, and it is translated in many different languages. A neuro movement practitioner will not ask a person to do what he cannot, because if he could, he would. Another basic requirement for a person to learn is that he or she feels comfortable and safe. Otherwise, the brain is not able to learn. That sounds logical, but too often, in many places, this is not the case. For example, when a person is put in a position where he feels unsafe, he needs to use a lot of force in order to protect herself. For example, when someone is asked to walk, who cannot.
The neuromovement method is a paradigm shift away from wanting to fix what is broken to building a connection with a student to reach their brain through movement. With neuromovement, the brain gets better and stronger. Parents over and over tell us about positive changes in all areas of their children's lives. When the brain does its job, it can organize actions, make sense out of the nonsense, and bring order into disorder.
We neuromovement practitioners take note of your child's diagnosis, but do not let us limit by them. As the brain is plastic, it can learn at any time. This opens up possibilities and learning successes that go far beyond expectations of conventional medicine.